Welcome to the Growth and Banter Podcast. My name is Blake McCullough, CEO and founder of GMS Media Group, one of Australia's leading digital marketing and advisory agencies. This podcast is for anyone looking to learn the insights and strategies of industry leaders and how to build a successful life. Today, we're joined by Eddie Nelson from Bred, and she's going to teach us how to harness the power of breathwork and the connection between the mind, body, and soul through breath. I hope you enjoy. Welcome, Eddie.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you. We're here today to take a deep breath and to discover the inner breath work and your skills around harnessing the power of breath work and consciously breathing. I've had the pleasure of attending some of your classes by coincidence, actually. We actually thought it was a Pilates class, and we booked the wrong class, and it was breath work. And I'm always open to new things, and since then I've been able to attend a few of your sessions and have been amazed by the power of it. But I think it's such a unknown and probably underutilized and underappreciated skill because, you know, breathing is automatic, but consciously breathing and the power of that, I'd love to learn and kick things off by sort of discovering and learning how you got into breathwork and the power of it and sort of your plans around Bred.
Yeah. So, and I love that you came to class. That was totally meant to be,
right?
By the way. Like you thought it was a Pilates.
It's the universe.
Yeah, like it just kind of fell, which was so, and now we're here today. So it was so meant to be.
Yeah.
It was actually my dad that introduced breathwork to me. So he was super stressed, super kind of in fight or flight, and sort of couldn't really find anything that could quickly shift his state, you know, instead of kind of going to the gym or doing a yoga class or whatever. His friend sort of said, try this breathwork thing on YouTube, and it was like 8 minutes or something. And he tried it, and he did it consistently for 3 days in a row, and just basically said to me, you need to try this. And I did, and I became completely obsessed, and then sort of spent all of my time and energy learning about it, and then becoming like a qualified sort of instructor. And then sort of fast forward 2 years now, obviously have Bred, my business, which is get your daily Bred, daily movement, daily breath work. But yeah, it was through my dad, which is quite special. I think it makes it more sort of symbolic. Personal. Yeah, yes, exactly. Like that sort of purpose and drive came through, my family, my dad.
Wow.
So that's kind of how it sort of stumbled into my life very organically and naturally. And I was in a place where I was very ready for change. Yeah.
And that's how I discovered it. Like last year I had and have still experiencing lately a lot of tension in my body. Yeah. And I actually have that. And I've been told a lot by different specialists, you know, from chiropractors, from massage therapists, that I have shallow breathing. So naturally, with I think a lot of stress that I take on in business and life, my body gets into flight or fight sometimes. And
totally.
Last year, I think I was going through processes of discovering different ways to alleviate the stress and tension in my body because I had a lower back sort of locked up, and, you know, I had that nerve pain down my left side. So that's how I sort of stumbled across it. But you're right. Like there's so many different ways I think that you can unlock power in the body and reconnect and get yourself out of situations that isn't necessarily traditional Western medicine. Yeah,
totally. Exactly. And I think, you know, tension in your body, nerve tension or whatever. I mean, everything is held in our body, right?
So true.
It's like everything. So we can talk as much as we like. We can do all the things outside of our body, but it actually can be as simple as just sitting with yourself and doing like consciously breathing for sort of 15, 20 minutes. And I think that is the biggest thing, that fight or flight, that stress. So many of us are in that and we think it's just normal.
Yeah.
The shallow breathing. I mean, I had awful anxiety, which is not even unique. Everybody experiences it. Everybody has it now. It's like the norm. And when I learned how to open up my diaphragm and breathe from my belly, which I could never like stick out my stomach. I was always breathing from my chest and catching my breath. When I learned that, I truly don't remember the last time I felt anxious.
Yeah, wow.
Truly. I get like, you know, nerves and I get excited about things, but that debilitating anxiety that would keep me up at night and could give me physical pain and sensations, I experience none of that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's all because of breath work.
And we're so conditioned and used to just wanting to pop a pill and, you know, and medicate the problem, or to go to a chiropractor and recorrect and have that quick fix.
Yeah.
And I know that even Kelly, who's been on the podcast, I work with a lot, shamanic healer. She does a lot of spiritual energy healing. You know, she knew that it was an internal thing, a neurological thing, and I just refuse to believe it. I'm like, no. Yeah. There is something structural there. I'm going to go get a scan.
Yeah.
You know?
But isn't it funny, right? How we tell ourselves those stories. Like, no, it can't be as simple as like looking at myself. No, I can't. What?
I'm doing everything right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. But I mean, that's the human condition of something. We'd rather do things outside of ourselves instead of facing our shit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And like, I think being vulnerable is another key component. And I think particularly for men, you know, you mentioned earlier that, you know, real men do breath work. And
I did say that. I did say that.
It's great though, because like, I feel there is stigma around this sort of stuff.
There's massive stigma. I mean, how did, like, after your first breathwork that you did, because you did one and then you came back 3 weekends in a row, even without Kirsten, right? Because you felt different. Like, for you, your experience, like, how did you feel after just 35 minutes of consciously breathing?
Like, Dad said, it's the difference between like having bad internal thoughts and positive internal thoughts by the end of it, you know? And I think like manifestation, what you tell yourself is like, it's real.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as being intuitive. It's the same thing as reading energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, de-stressing is through breath work and constant breathing, and knowing that I am a shallow breather, and I've been told that over many years.
Yeah.
There's that for me felt like a natural fit.
Yeah.
But I think also you have to have certain toolkits to explore things like this, and a lot of people just aren't connected to their spirituality.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't force it on people, right? Like, the amount of people I've tried to force it, like, do this, it'll help, it'll work. Like, I'm right, you're wrong, which is just, you can't do that. But like, there has to be a certain level of openness or curiosity. And like, for me personally, that openness came from, well, I'm so sick of feeling and thinking like this. I need to shift that quickly. And I feel like for you, it was maybe your back, or for other people, it's whatever the reason is, but they come with that curiosity and openness to try something a little bit different.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That was really easy. 25 minutes, what?
Yeah,
I can feel different. I don't have to be like trapped in my mind and constantly in fight or flight. What? Yes, guys, it's that easy. You know?
Yeah, and curiosity, I think, is probably one of the most important things in life to have. Otherwise, we get trapped in the same routine.
Absolutely.
And we live monotonous lives, and people don't explore what's out there. And like I said, we've been conditioned with all this traditional stuff, and there is so many things out there to open the mind. And I think the connection between mind, body, soul is also very neglected. You know, we take for granted how important health is. And, you know, I think with, you know, the hustle mentality, that's also a big stigma in Australia. And I'm so against that. Yeah. Like, I don't believe in that whole wake up 4 a.m. hustle and, you know, get to the gym and first thing you do, and you're just trying to squeeze every minute out of the day. Like, I think that also has an adverse effect. I think sustainable living and reconnecting, I think that's what breath work really did for me, was to slow down. And you can get, you know, quite racy in your head at times. And I definitely am that sort of person. Probably an element of ADHD in there somewhere.
Yeah, totally. Hear you.
So like, I definitely benefit from it. But I think for like the general consensus, like, how do you feel breath work can apply to early beginners or people that sort of aren't quite familiar with it?
Yeah, totally. I think it can be as simple as like, I mean, for me personally, I like it to be guided, because I think when I'm hearing someone's voice, I can come out of my own mind. Do you know what I mean? I always talk about how meditation and breath work is so different, because meditation is beautiful and amazing, but you know, if you're already in that fight or flight, it's quite hard to then be like, sit with your thoughts. So I think what we need to do.
That's a good point.
I mean, for me, before I got into breath work and these other sort of healing modalities, I was always in fight or flight. Cortisol was crazy. Wake up, like you said, 5 a.m., pump the coffee, like oxy shred. And then
dopamine hits.
Oh my God. And just no centeredness, no, as you're saying, mind body connection, like whatsoever. And so I think for beginners, like, I know it sounds so easy, but literally just start by placing your hands on your body and just being conscious with your breath. Just literally just notice your breath for 30 seconds. YouTube, box breath, 2 minutes. Because we know now that breath work is the quickest way to shift your state, which to me is insane. That is insane. So you're telling me that if I'm in fight or flight, I've had my coffee, I've had a fight with my partner, that I can sit in my car for 2 minutes and shift the way I think and feel. What?
Yeah, it seems so easy.
We're like, no, give me the sauna and the ice bath and the $50 million gym memberships. Yeah, it's that easy.
And the hard, high intensity
workout.
Give me
hard. Yeah, like life has to be hard. At first, I've got to, climb up the mountain. And you have to there's adversity, there's climbing up mountains, of course. But can we try to do it as regulated and calmly and consciously as possible
and be kind to yourself, right?
Yeah, great one.
And I think that was like another lesson from last year for me is that, and even this year, like I did a 3-month detox, no alcohol.
Amazing.
Sort of more of a sustainable 75 hard, because I don't think the 75 hard, I don't really believe in smashing yourself for 75 days, because it's like I'm training 2 days a week, 2 times a day, and then falling off the wagon after that.
It's awful.
It's
like a robot.
I'm sure that works for a lot of people, but I did more of a sustainable. But even then, like I think the body can't really recognize good and bad stress sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then I started to get these tension headaches recently because I'm going through a lot of shifts right now with moving units, which I've just settled on.
Yeah.
Moving office in a few weeks.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on. The universe is just throwing a lot at me. Year of transformation or positive transformation. But even with that detox, I overexerted myself at the gym one time doing high intensity training, and then that's sort of what happened last year with my back too.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't get rid of this tension headache, and it was like I feel like my brain was swelling in my head, and it was probably because I was in fight or flight mode.
And just like pushing yourself to those, and I love what you said, like it's your body couldn't tell between the good stress and the bad stress. And then it's like you could only tell when you get sick and you have to stop, And I always talk about this, like the body's always communicating with us. I mean, think about it. When we cry, we have liquid just come out of our little eyeballs. Like it's crazy, right? Or, if our skin flares up or, weight stuff or whatever, it's like the body's communicating. And I mean, look, I think we have to also accept like we're humans having a human experience. Like I'm not saying that like you need to wake up and do 45 minutes of breath work every morning and then, do your yoga and meditation. But like for me, or for someone like yourself that's definitely a lot busier than I am, like waking up and just doing 2 minutes of box breath, like truly will shift your state immediately and for the rest of your day. And I think let's make it relatable and manageable and a bit simpler.
So I like the simple, because again, it's just smashing your body. Work socially, I think, is what most people do.
Yeah.
And doing. I think that's what I loved about your session is that it's simple.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
Yeah.
And it's effective.
Yeah.
And there's not many practices that have that combination.
I agree. Yeah.
And not only that, you use elements of sound.
Yes.
You've got a great ability to play the music that connects, I think, during that session.
Yeah.
And feel and using different sensory items to really elevate that experience. So how important is it to mix those sensory elements within your sessions?
Yeah, totally. So important. I mean, as we were sort of saying, like breath, movement, sound is just, it's everything. It's the quickest way or the best way, in my opinion, to sort of shift and move stuff through the body. And I think thank you for saying what you said about my sessions being quite relatable and like easy to do, because I think what I found is when I became qualified is I sort of came in and I sort of only really saw, breathwork sessions that were maybe 3 hours long, and you go on a retreat to Bali and it's rebirthing and holotrope, and like I've done all that. Yep, cool. And then there's over here, which is like more sort of people like, oh, is it meditation? It's like, no, it's not meditation. So I was like, I need to find something in between here. And I think being sort of guided through intuition and universe sort of, shifting me into certain places, I think I found something sort of in the middle of that, of like, how can I relate to people? Like, how can it just be quite easy and accessible? And so I think teaching at studios and then eventually going into corporates and stuff is like, anybody can do this.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah, anybody.
Like literally, like whether it's my dad or it's my little sister or it's like, you know, the person in between their meetings, or it's you, or it's man, or a
Yeah,
woman,
or someone
or a
going
kid.
in with a completely different intention of me thinking it's Pilates to fix my back.
Totally,
and,
absolutely.
We got through it like very easily.
I remember when
no
you
prep
sat
work.
up, like your face was so calm. I was like, this man is not in his head. I was like, this is amazing. Like, just so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
To the ability to just be able to drop into your body and connect. And I think that is what is really important. I think we're missing a bit of that, you know? So,
yeah, and as the world goes topsy-turvy as it is, I think I actually got more benefits from the breathwork than I did with the Pilates, you know, because like that's because obviously I didn't realize that there was that fight or flight going on in my body that was causing that physical muscle, you know, tension that I was getting that was causing all these restrictions with, you know, like I said, with my tension headaches and the lower back. So yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, so you came in blindly, you didn't know what you were doing. There was no expectations, which I think in some ways can be quite good. And, you know, you came in for your back and, you know, body stuff. So whatever your intention is, people can come into my sessions and they maybe want to have an answer to something. They want to just have a reset. They want to feel less anxious. They want to be less out of their head. Or they're coming in and they want to have like an emotional release, right? Because our emotions and our memories and our experiences are all held in here, right?
Yeah.
So whatever the intention is, how cool.
Yeah.
You're just going to lie down and breathe, and like you're going to shift your state and something's going to be different, and it's different every time, because once we drop out of the mind, the body is so wise and so intelligent that it knows what you need. So it knew what Blake needed in that moment, and it was to do with your back and body, and then the lady next to you was something different.
Yes, everyone.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and like you do the circle integration. I think the integration is a really important thing. So you're not just walking out going, "Cool, get back on my phone."
Yeah.
You know, and I've done weekends of this sort of stuff where the integration is almost one of the most important things when you do these sort of things.
Yes.
But yeah, going around a circle and just getting everyone's feedback on how they feel after it. And everyone's got, like you said, a different outcome. And I've been to several, and each time there's been a different outcome, because you're going in there with something, you know, there's something going on that's different every time.
Yeah.
Because we're complicated humans.
We're so complicated. And I think even like that sharing circle, it's so funny because when I first started doing it, and everyone does
really
it,
emotional sometimes,
really emotional. And I feel like we're like in like kindergarten again. We're like, and how does Blake feel? And how do you feel? Like, and I know it's like so simple, and people probably cringe at it and judge it, but I don't care.
Nah, fuck them.
Fuck them. It's just I think it's so important. Like, let's just actually be honest and authentic and real with what's going on in our lives and how we're feeling.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of the autopilot just talking from here. Let's talk from here.
Yeah, no, fucking oath. Yeah, small talk's boring.
Yeah, so boring.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So like, I guess the main difference again, because I feel like this is somewhat of a new practice. I feel like not a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
Like what are the key components and differences between meditation, which again, I agree with you. I think that is a much more difficult and scary and hard thing for people to do because we are so busy in our heads.
Yeah.
Versus breath work in a typical, say, half-hour session.
Yeah, totally. And I think the meditation is so difficult because Joe Dispenza said this once. He's like, you know, try to sit into meditation when you're in fight or flight. It's like a tiger's going to eat you. Like you're just not. You
don't have the tools to process everything.
Yeah. So it's like, if we know that breath work can shift your state the quickest, okay, let's do 3 minutes of breath work. So before we come into the mind, let's come into the body, the state of the body. And once we change the state of the body, the thoughts are pretty different. Like after you exercise or after you did that breath work session, as you just said before, after the breath work session, you notice how different the thoughts were. If you hadn't done the breath work session and changed your state, your body, your physiology, your thoughts would be different.
Yeah.
So I think the benefit of breath work compared to meditation is that breath work is active. I'm giving you something to do. So you do drop out of the mind because you're doing something the whole time. Doing breath work and then going into meditation. Perfect. Yeah, so different.
Yeah.
So different, you know? So I think the benefits we know now, like reduces stress, lowers your cortisol, certain breathing techniques release oxytocin. What?
Yeah.
Lowers your heart rate variability. What? Skin, lights your eyes, like jaw shape, mouth like it's just, I talk about this all the day and I'm still like a little giddy little girl, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's just amazing. And I think my sort of intention that I would like is just to get as many people as possible like doing this. Like even first thing in the morning, you don't have to do it like 5 times a day. Just first thing in the morning when you wake up and just notice how things start to, that's what my dad said. My dad said, I can't believe, and I think you'd better relate so well to him. It's like all the stress that was just coming, the calls, the people, the work. He's like, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna let that unfold. I'm gonna let that unravel. Like, I'm just gonna let it unfold in front of me, and I'm gonna respond. I'm not gonna react.
Yeah.
And that's because he went in here first, into his body, his state. He shifted that. So whatever's gonna happen on the outside, you moving house, you going away, like focus on here, and then everything on the outside will be a little bit different.
Yeah.
More manageable.
For sure.
And
I can see like you've got a mature soul at such a young age, and I can see that this practice for you has enabled you to be like that.
Totally.
You know, like I think at your age for myself, definitely wasn't at that level. And I feel like that, your practices enabled you to have that connection, which I think a lot of people find a little bit later in life.
Yeah.
You know, success and growth and, you know, doing something like what you're doing doesn't come without adversity. Like what sort of, how is your practices personally helped you overcome adversity in your life and challenges and setbacks that you've had?
Yeah, great question. I feel like for so long I was just neglecting and just pushing all of the stuff to the side. And then I think breath work has that ability to bring everything up to the surface, and you're facing everything right, which is very painful and very uncomfortable. So I think to get through it was more just facing it. I don't know if I can say that like it didn't help necessarily with like how much easier it was.
No.
It just faced it. And I think I was saying this to my friend yesterday, I think what comes from that, from facing your pain and facing adversity and facing yourself and questioning yourself, why am I the way I am? Why do I act like this? Why do I behave like this? Why am I attracting these people into my life? Why can't I do that? Why blah, blah, blah. You have this awareness of yourself, and you start to sort of know yourself better and get to know yourself. And what comes with that is, all that stuff, you know? So I think it's just made me more connected to my body and more ability to feel. I would much rather be where I'm at now, where I can feel a lot of pain and sadness. But the great thing is that I can feel joy and proper love and proper emotional intimacy and proper connection to other humans, which is, I think, what all of us really want and desire. Whereas before all of that, I really was just kind of strutting along on autopilot and super angry and tense. And I didn't really know why until I faced that. And I think everyone has levels of involvement and levels of like when they're ready to be open to that. You can't force this stuff at all. But the situation that I was in and where I was at, I was just really ready for it. So my mentor says to me, enjoy your pain. Enjoy your pain. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
How many of us don't want to feel that stuff? Those little triggers we get, you know, when the face gets red or the body gets tense or you get angry or you want to, why? Ask yourself why. Why? Go deep, go there.
Yeah.
And I think I've been so scared, but I've just feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Or don't.
And it's pretty easy to internalize all of that fear that comes our way. And as the old saying goes, universal laws, you can't have pain without pleasure and sadness without happiness. And it's more about living a fulfilled and content life, right? And I think again, breath work, tying back into it, definitely allows you to just balance yourself and follow that straight line. Yeah.
And I think once you sort of, well, for me, like when I started doing those sessions and having emotional releases of, you know, stuff, once that happens, like it's actually harder to then like push it back down. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, I mean, you can, but
you get naive to it. You don't even realize you're in that state.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, oh, okay, why am I feeling like this? Like you get into a rhythm. And I think most of us do, where we're sort of just like, why am I feeling like this? I don't feel stressed. And then like when you really peel it back and you get to the other side, you're like, oh fuck, I was actually not doing good then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of, I say this, I think people that are not aware of themselves are dangerous It's probably a bit dramatic, but they're a bit dangerous. It's like, I think the awareness thing is so important.
Yeah.
Questioning why am I the way I am? Why am I doing
But
these
even those that
things?
are aware can still, it's not like we're 24/7 aware. It's just being able to.
Even people that are aware also can be dangerous.
Oh, yeah. It's just being able to be, I think, be able to pull yourself out when you go down paths, right?
100%.
And then when you develop those bad habits, knowing how to then recorrect yourself, right?
Yes.
I don't think there's such thing as living a perfection, smooth, balanced life. It doesn't exist. Unless you're living, stuck inside all day and not doing anything and not challenging yourself. But
totally.
I think those who do want to succeed or challenge or live a fulfilled life, there's going to be multiple sets of adversity. And we can't hide those.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's that classic thing that people always say, right? If there's not adversity or pain, then you're probably not going to grow much.
No. Yeah.
It's like a little recipe. It's kind of obvious. Like if you're not going to feel anything, then you're probably not going to evolve all that much.
No, 100%.
That's fine. Stay the same.
No, it's not for everyone.
Good luck, loser. No, I'm kidding.
So talk us about Bred. That's your brand, the Daily Bred or Bred.
Yes.
I'm sure there's other things that obviously you do outside of breath work. What does Bred encompass? What's your vision for it? What are you getting up to this year with Bred?
Yeah. So Bred, it's spelled Bred, and it's the first letters of breathe, and then my name, Ed. And the whole concept is get your daily bread, your daily movement, daily breath work. And basically what Bred is sort of working with brands and corporations like with breath and movement. It's kind of that simple. And I think as you were saying, the sort of Bred method in the sense is usually with the movement and with the breath and certain breathing techniques of what intention we sort of want, whether it's feeling more connected to the body, whether it's having an emotional release. Obviously that's quite different to the corporates that I do. Like everything is tailored to sort of you and what it is that you would like to get out of. And I think the reason why it's been quite successful is because it's really easy and people are kind of wanting that. And the fact that it's sort of guided the whole time, I think is really, people are just liking to get out of their heads and out of their lives for a little bit, And
even if it's from technology too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just off their phone for a bit. So I think that's kind of what Bred is. And it started with just me teaching, and I still do at Pilates studios, and now just working with sort of corporates more closely and big brands and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's really exciting. It's really cool. I definitely didn't think once I became qualified that it would sort of, it originally was called Sacred Sophie, which was my sister's name.
Really?
Yeah. And then I had
That's still a cool name.
It's cool, but LinkedIn and Dior, do they want Sacred Sophie? I don't know. It's a bit feminine.
Yeah. Daily Bread. I like Daily Bread.
Yeah.
Daily Bread's good.
Yeah, bread's good. It's a bit more catchy.
And then you also serve banana bread too. So.
I do serve banana bread at all the events.
Ties in.
Totally. It's so good. I think it's catchy and it's cute, and it just sort of, it applies to, I think, everyone. But yeah, when it was called Sacred Sophie, named after my little sister, it was sort of all inspired through her. I didn't realize it would kind of go, or maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe that's a lie. Maybe I knew where I wanted to go and I had big dreams and visions and all that. But yeah, it's cool that I get to work with corporates and even meeting people like yourself that you look up to in business. And it's really amazing. It's great.
Yeah, and partnerships, I think that's a common thread with a lot of guests that we have on this podcast is that that is a great way to grow your brand and your business. And I know that you've done some stuff with LinkedIn, Ray White. I'm sure there's others there. Obviously, you work out of Body by Burner. That's how we met.
Yes.
Shout out Bernie.
Yeah. Bernie.
How important are the partnerships for you in directing Bred through the process?
Yeah, so important. Everything, right? Because I think brand awareness and exposure and knowing that it's not just teaching at Pilates studios and wanting to be applicable to everybody. I wanted to not just work with activewear brands and that super sort of feminine female aspect. I want to work with corporations and businesses. So when I've worked with lawyers and accountants and doctors, that's what I want. I want to scale. I want to go big. I want to work with as many people as I possibly can. And I think I'm good at that. I think I can humanize and relate to almost anyone because I've sort of been there and worked, sort of done that work myself, so I can kind of, sort of adjust to what it is that people are wanting. And yeah, I think it's cool. I have a breathwork for Whoop tomorrow, which is amazing. That was a dream of mine to work with a brand like that.
That's big.
It's so cool. And we're going to do some really cool stuff. And yeah, it's so cool. It's exciting. It's a bit overwhelming, but it's exciting.
Well, yeah, evolving quickly.
Yeah, it's been pretty quick.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just because there's not a lot of players, I feel, in the market that are doing this from a specific point of view.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's holistic specialists who do throw in breath work, but specific breath work that you're focusing on.
Yeah.
I don't know of any others really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's maybe you've just got an opportunity to really take hold of that market.
I think so. And I think it was cool because as I was saying, it sort of fell into my lap of doing a breath work. I was doing a breath work with my partner at the time. And after I finished the breath work, when you just kind of get like knowings or intuitions of things and you just go, I need to do this. It's like a full body yes. Yeah. And then literally the next day I signed up and had a call with the guy and just spent all my money on the qualification. And
so what's the qualification look like? You have to be like some sort of course or?
Yeah, so you do a course, you do online study, and there's quite a few around these days. But yeah, there's about 3 months worth of sort of online stuff and content, and I was so obsessed. I was like reading all the books and I was doing all the things, and then you go and do like sort of in-person retreats. And again, what I was sort of saying before of like there was a lot of this really intense spiritual rebirthing. And I'm like, well, that's probably not going to apply to me or to everybody here or to yourself. Like it might, but not in your everyday life. And that's what Daily Bred is about. I want breathwork to be as accessible and normal as when you reach and you drink water. I want people to wake up, have their water, have their matcha, and then press play or something on a breathwork. That's how,
Yeah.
That's what I'm setting.
So now that we know the theory, should we do a little exercise just so people can sort of get a feel for what it is to consciously breathe?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because I've actually listened to, I can't remember who it was, on Joe Rogan, and they did an exercise through it. It was a breathwork specialist on his podcast, and they did it together. And I was doing it in the car, and I was like almost fainted in the car because I was just
we
like,
don't want that.
No. But
what were they doing? Like fast breath?
No, it was more the deep breath, but just like the energy that it gave you.
Yeah.
Like, because I was driving when I was listening to it, like it does sort of spin your head out a bit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So sometimes when you go like in parts of your session, like there are obviously like the smooth and the you've got different rhythms, but let's do a little practice.
Yeah, we'll do inhale for 4 and just exhale for 6. And when you exhale, just do like through pursed lips, like candles, because that one's relaxing. Let's lower the cortisol. Let's get you, not you're saying we're in fight or flight, but just de-stress, de-anxious, anxiety. Let's do that. Okay. We should close our eyes because that's better. Okay. You're breathing through the nose. So when you're ready, breathe in. Hold for a second. 3, 2, 1. And then exhale through pursed lips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So slower. Breathe in. Hold. Nice and slow exhale for 6. 5, 4, 3, better. 2, 1. Breathe in. 3, 4. Hold a little bit longer. Exhale for 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Breathe in. 3, 4. Hold a little bit longer. 10 seconds. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. Exhale out for 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Last one. Breathe in. Hold, 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 hold. Ribs are expanded. Breath is up in the chest. Exhale, let it go for 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow. Immediate relaxation. Crazy.
Calm.
I even felt like my body just like sinking into the seat. Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's insane, yeah.
It is.
I mean, I haven't done it actually for a while. I don't think I've done it all this year.
You got to come again.
I do. I do. Well, now I'm in Cronulla. I have to make the trip into
extra effort.
But yeah, I'll be still in. But yeah, I hope everyone at home and listening did that as well because it's insane. It just goes through your whole body.
It does. Yeah. And I think it's just being present with your breath for like 35 seconds.
That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Like I don't know how else I can like say it, like just try it, guys.
Just do it.
God damn it. Get your bread and just try the breathing technique. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. So I guess like over, now that you're getting into the partnerships, people are discovering the power of it, getting into the corporates. What other plans have you got for the next 12 months?
I've got big plans that I can't really talk about right now because it's all in the,
Yep.
I like to keep it nice and sacred and energy contained, but
Yep, good idea.
I think my intention from the very beginning has just to be how much can I spread breathwork as far as I possibly can, and how much can I scale and spread the word and spread the modalities and spread my energy to as many humans as I can. So I think now, after sort of Bred is 2 years in November. And so, just kind of taking the next step of just bigger and wider. Yeah. And it's really exciting. It's so weird, but it's really exciting. So all of that is coming soon.
And having like people to support you on it, because I'm sure that's going to come part and parcel with growing.
Yes.
You're sort of working with others to build some sort of team or?
Yes. Yeah, I am. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, I've got a very small, cute little circle of people that I obviously completely trust and tell absolutely everything to. But yeah, that's really important, right? Because I can't do it obviously all myself, so I think having people around you that you trust and kind of see the same sort of vision and vibe. And we've got really exciting things that we'll be doing actually here in this room. So
cool.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. And
And I guess like the physical experience is always the way to go because you've got the music, you've got I know you go around and sort of, position yourself and, the comfort of the touch as well, I think is also a really nice thing at the end of those sessions. Yeah. And the integration, but there's obviously elements of this that you can digitize and have online, and that's to a mass market point of view, but
maybe you can help me with all that
stuff. There we go. There's always a way for sure. But I think like I would encourage anyone who's not done it to try it first physically.
Totally.
But like, I think that easy process of we just did then practically, you can do in your car, you can do when you're stressed at work. There's always times of the day you can reset. Yeah. It's just about consciously being able to know to do it.
When do you feel like for yourself that you need it the most? Like, is it in the morning? I think
when I'm like on a roll with things, like when I'm sort of on, and even at the start of the year when I knew that this year was going to be a big, a lot going on, a lot of transformation, year of the snake as well. Like,
totally, and
just building all these new resets in my life, with my lifestyle, with my home environment, with my office, with new ventures. Everything's getting thrown at me. Yeah. And like I said, I think at the start of the year, that was eye-opening because I felt like I was in the best position ever, which I felt I was healthy, fit, but still was redlining. Yes. So like during that process, still needing it, it's not about falling off the rails and needing this sort of stuff. It's about also when you're on high overdrive and working 24/7 and also physically, doing, working out, surfing, whatever. Like, I think if you're sort of trying to get the most out of every day, you can still be on overdrive. Like I said, it's good stress, but the body still recognizes that as stress, right? So that's where I feel like navigating through a lot of change is super important to do this sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you've got a lot on your plate, and I think we all do, like, busy is quite a vague word to use, and everyone is busy. You can not have a job and still be busy. You can be a mother and be flat out. It doesn't matter like what you do in life. There is ways to consume your life very quickly in your days very quickly. Yeah, I agree. But the productivity, and I think like when you are like, sometimes my head splits from juggling so many things. Like, and that's where those tension headaches probably appeared. That's where I feel I needed it the most for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing I like what you said. It's like you should still incorporate and do breath work when life is good. You don't need to be coming when the body's in strife or like you're not in a good place. And I think people that have come to my sessions every week at the studios that I teach at, they're saying like even just doing it once a week, it's like changing their lives. Yeah. And they come when life is good. Like, they're not saying that they have to come from a bad place. They're just incorporating a new modality that's increasing sort of everything and sort of helping every sort of compartment in their life, whether it's stress, relationships, family. Like, the stories I could share, like, it's amazing. And I think practice consistently, even when life is good or bad, I think is super important as well.
Yeah. And I think like, again, there's so much more education and things out there online. And I think knowledge now of there being a lot of ways to have outlets to let off steam is what a lot of people say. And I think like, wind the clock back 20 years ago when I was growing up, a lot of that was a release of going out and partying and alcohol, you know, which is still a massive thing right now.
Yeah.
But it was a natural society acceptance of knee-jerk reaction to have an ability to let off steam through drinking and going out.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel now there's a massive societal shift, not just from me getting older, but like, you know, our team, you know, and younger people in their 20s, they're doing months off. They're practicing these things. They're doing spiritual exercises. And I feel when I grew up in my teens and early 20s, like none of this stuff would have been accepted.
No, not at all.
Like I feel there is a big society shift and there's a good time right now.
I agree.
And that's probably come down to social media, education, globalization, you know, a lot of people understanding what else is out there, you know, in different societies and cultures and a multicultural world we live in.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel it's more accepted to try these things, and there's not that knee-jerk reaction of just picking up the drink or you know, going out and thinking you have to socialize to switch off.
Totally.
Yeah, that is also, I think, still a stigma.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think, as we were saying earlier, the curiosity and the openness to try something a little bit different. Because I agree, it's kind of more norm. Like wellness is trendy at the moment. Breathwork is trendy. Saunas are trendy. Like it's all trendy.
It's cooler to like go for run clubs than it is to go to a club.
Yeah, I personally hate running, but yes.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I'm the same.
It's too hard.
Yeah, I'd rather
just do breathwork, everybody.
I'd rather a walk and a coffee and some breathwork.
Totally,
for sure. Yeah.
totally.
And doing it on the Saturday mornings, like that's when I first got introduced to it. That's such a good way to start the weekend.
Right.
After like a stressful week of work, you know?
It is. I mean, it's funny. Like, I think some people are like, I can't come on Saturday. I've got lunches and I've got this and I've got so, and like, that's fine. But I think, it's different. Like, what are your priorities? What are your intentions for the week? Like how you want to reset and stuff. But yeah, the 10 a.m. sessions on the Saturday in North Bondi, they're
golden. Yeah,
they're amazing. They're so good. And people that are coming weekly are like, wow, just less anxious, like less reactive to thoughts, like less stress, like a bit calmer, as you were saying, a bit kinder to myself. Like everything has a ripple sort of effect, you know, and I think it's special. It's special that people, I do love that about the East, is like when people do give it a try, you know what I mean? They're like, fuck it, let's just try. Let's just give it a try, which is cool. It's nice. Yeah.
And I think the last time I was there was a lot of people just stumbled across it. Yeah. Even like internationals, you know, like it wasn't even like most people, I think in the last one I went to, most people were from overseas, I think. Like they were just like tourists, you know?
No, it's crazy. And I love when like all the girlies like bring their partners and then they will like literally be there every weekend. Like almost the men get almost in some ways more out of it, because I think
because we don't have that sort of like
a little bit like maybe that sort of
it's like men's not allowed to show their feelings
a little
so
bit
maybe
and that kind of like sort of safe haven, and like they're with their partner, and you know, I think as well the fast breath, like that is quite masculine and intense, and I think the guys go, wow, I love it. They really get into it, and then afterwards they're like, oh whoa, like there's something in that, so they're quite shocked. And I love that there's strength in it. I think both from, you know, being a male and tapping into feminine energy. I think that's strength. I think it's weak to ignore it. Yes, you know, and I definitely did ignore it like early on in my life. But again, there's just you just don't know what's out there. Totally,
you know,
and
sometimes.
you may not be where you are today if you hadn't. Do you know what I mean? Like everything comes when it's meant to arrive into your life, into your vortex. For sure, you know? Like you may not have been where you are without that masculine hustle drive, and now you've found that maybe more of the balance and flow or whatever. Yeah, no, you know? I'm not perfect, still learning. No, totally. Still developing the tool kick. Neither. Yeah, totally. So obviously, like again, at a young age, getting to where you are, mastering this skill. Who have you, aside from your dad, like who are the sort of people you surround yourself with, you know, to sort of gain knowledge, to, you know, bounce off, you know, being sort of on your own with Bred as well. Who are you sort of tapping into as your, you know, I guess mentor network? Yeah. Who are you around you that sort of help you drive this process? Yeah. I have one person. Yeah. And she's my everything. Her name is Somi. She's 45 years old. She's Persian. She's from Iran. I don't know why I say that, but it just makes it, you know, more dramatic. Yeah. Sounds exotic. Yeah, it sounds exotic, right? And I met her through my breathwork training, and I could honestly get emotional talking about it. I don't know why, but I just met her and we just connected.
Gelled, yeah.
Oh, like just, I don't know, whether, get a bit weird, past lives or something. There was just a massive connection there. And she's got very, very intuitive gifts, very big gifts. And she has been like my absolute everything through all of this, through Bred, through questions, through people, through relationships, through work partnerships, through everything. She is my go-to. I literally trust her with my entire life. Yeah. And there is no one else really around me that I have that sort of trust and that unconditional love with, which is so rare because she's not my family, but I feel like she's my mother in a certain way. And I also have my beautiful family. I'm so lucky that, I grew up with love and I grew up with care, and I've got them and my 2 younger sisters always, which is, I
think I met your sisters when you did the Manly session.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So they're amazing. As I said, that Bred was sort of inspired through the middle sister, Sophie. Just again, what we were saying, that disconnection to body and sort of that normal feeling of anxiety and breathing from your chest. And I thought, fuck's sake, like I'm so, come on, like let's change this, So I think that big drive and that sort of go was, as we were saying, stemmed from family and through their hardships. And yeah, I'm so lucky because I know that if I didn't have these things, that if I didn't have Somi, if I didn't have my family, that my life would be so different. And I've got to be, I think, even as I say it out loud, I've got to remember to be grateful for that and to stop for a moment.
Yeah.
Even you asked me that question, I'm like, fuck, be present, be grateful, like be mindful of of all the amazing things.
Sometimes we don't even understand the support we have around us, and then we say play the victim card.
Yeah.
And I sometimes go through that and then I just sort of tap into it and I'm like, fuck no, I've got so much support.
I'll be like, oh, this is so hard. I'll be to Somi, I'm like, I'm so tired. Like I'm sick of the mats and the speakers and
having to do everything myself.
I physically do it myself. And then she's like, shut up. And I'm like, okay, probably should,
Yeah,
so
you just need someone to tell you.
You just need someone to tell you and put you in your place. And she certainly does that for me. So yeah, she would be my person and
awesome.
My family.
How good. Aside from breathwork, and I guess building this brand and, all that sort of work piling onto your plate, how else do you carry out your week? What are some other ways that you switch off outside of breathwork? And I'm sure, there would be a time where maybe you have to even switch off from breathwork at times.
Yeah.
What else how else do you sort of carry out your weekends, and how does Eddie switch off?
Yeah, how does she? I'm going to be really honest. I feel like the time that I'm in my life now, I'm 26. I'm young. I'm full of energy. I've got.
I started my business at 26. You've already way ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I truly don't think about anything else besides my business and Bred.
Awesome.
And that might be a bit embarrassing or judgment. I don't know. People might be, well, that's fucking weird. Truly, that's all I think about.
You're all in.
Yeah, that's all I think about. And I do my best to do it and I don't always, but I do my best to try and do it in a calm and regulated way, which doesn't happen all of the time. But honestly, I just think about that and I just work towards that. And in the moments, I will, of course, go into nature. I'll dance. I'll move my body. I'll spend time with friends that make me feel really good. I'll eat, yummy food. I'll get out of Sydney for a bit. But honestly, Blake, everything is about my business.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Because
I don't need to switch off from my life. I love my life, but right now I feel like between now and maybe this is just a story and identity I'm telling myself, I don't know, but I feel like between now and maybe in the next 18 months, just go. Go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
And I think you're at that age and I can relate totally. When I had 3 jobs, when I was starting to consult, because you can't just go straight into it when you start your business, I feel. I was working for a tech company. I was helping out our pub.
Wow.
And I was consulting. And so it was full on year. And then, getting into, it took about a year and a half to properly go full time into consulting. But yeah, I think breaking away from the 9 to 5, it becomes a blend. And, you know, even for myself, like I love being able to help people and help their business and give them direction and navigate the complexity of the online world. Like, and I'm happy to take calls on the weekends, and I'm not just doing a 9 to 5. Like,
same.
If I need to pick up a call at 10 p.m, I'll do that. Like, it's not an issue. And I think that is probably like the difference between someone doing it for the right reasons and wrong reasons.
I think so. And I think there's that, what's his name? Chris Williamson on his podcast. He said something like...
That's so weird you said that. I literally was just listening to that on the way here. And I don't even know who he is.
I love him. He's amazing.
My friend recommended him a while ago, and I went through all the texts like weeks ago.
He was here.
Oh,
he did a podcast here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just started it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so you'll love it. It's great.
I'm already liking it.
Yeah. He said something with what's it? The other guy, quite large. Alex Hormozy. Yeah. And they said something like, it's okay to work on the weekends.
Yeah.
And when they said it, I was like, shit, guys, like 9 to 5 doesn't need to be where you switch off and do this. And I think I'll have old friends of mine be like, make sure you're, you know, resting and you're getting time for yourself. I'm like, I'm good, guys. Like I'm trying to build something here. So I don't know. I sound like a little bit like bitchy, but like I'm trying. Yeah. It's like, well, what else am I going to do? If my energy is good, my health is good, my relationships are good, where I live is good. Like I'm just all in.
And that's
putting all my eggs in a basket.
The same goes for, you don't have to be a business owner to have that methodology.
Yeah.
You know, you can work on yourself that is connected to the career that you're building in other ways on the weekends. Not saying, hey, work every day, but I think that's where if you do look at life from a 9 to 5 work and switch off and have that separation to social, you get the Friday jitters, you get the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
Because you're literally pulling yourself out of something and back in.
Yes.
And it's that hard process of push and pull. Versus sustainably doing it, then it just becomes life. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I love that. I really, really agree with that, because I think everything that I talk about, or every screen that I'm looking at, or people that I'm talking to, is all about like breath work and Bred. And I think it is important, obviously, to switch off and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, there's something in me that's just like, just keep going.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, I'm not unhealthy. Like I'm not like, I'm pretty regulated. Like I'm good. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just going to keep going all in and see what happens.
No need to switch off.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I just think I've got like a nice vision, and I think if you can keep the vision aligned and do it from your heart space and do it authentically and real, that there's not that massive burnout or that massive highs and lows. Like I think if you're doing it from a place of authenticity, then all good.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all amazing, actually.
Yeah.
You know?
So in terms of people like being able to, come to a class or access your work, how do people get access to you at the moment?
Yeah, so everything's just, my website is just dailybred.com.au and I have my next event on the 25th of May before I toddle off to Europe.
Oh, you're going to Europe?
I am.
How long?
Just a week.
Okay.
I'm going with my psychic and I'm doing a women's retreat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Different Europe trip.
Different Europe trip, guys.
Yeah.
Someone's going to hold space for me.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's going to be so fun.
And where's the last event?
25th at Bondi Pavilion. Okay. So maybe you can come.
25th of which month?
25th of May. 3 weeks.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. 2 and a bit weeks.
Okay.
And then obviously teach at studios on a Saturday, but you can find all of this on my socials and stuff. And then there'll be much bigger stuff happening in the next couple of months where you can have access to me.
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
Yeah, how good. I'll definitely come to that and definitely need it. And I'll have just finished the office move. So that will be another hurdle to sort of de-stress on.
Yeah, come and let go.
You know what? I'll get you into the office and we can do some group ones when we're in. Yeah. I actually got Kelly, again, who I referenced earlier.
Shaman.
Yeah, she does yoga too. So she's doing weekly yogas with us in our teams.
Oh, amazing.
Every Tuesday morning. Not everyone can make it. But yeah, we started it this week, so we'll do.
I would love to. I could do breathwork even just once a month.
Yeah,
once every 100%. 2 weeks with a bit of Pilates if you want to.
Yeah, I know our team. We do tons of events. Like every month we do an event. Yeah, and they're becoming like way more wholesome than they used to be.
That's so good.
Like we've done Slow House recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
We obviously did Body by Burner.
Yeah,
we took the guys there.
Yeah.
What else have we done, Tyra?
I think you did do a breath work, didn't you?
No, we did a
I was like, how dare you do it with someone else?
We do lunch and learns as well. So that's like that. We do that. We try and do it every Thursday. We either buy lunch with the team or we do a lunch and learn.
So good that you do that.
We usually get people to educate us on something that we're not familiar with or topics that we need that we're doing as a company that we need to upskill ourselves on. But we do also team events on top of that. I mean, we've done everything from pottery to art classes to go-karting. So and then, of course, we'll do the celebration every quarter,
but fun.
It's not just a general pub lunch or go out and have a drink every time. It's like we're starting to really get into that. And it's funny because our team, we all like to have a bit of fun, but everyone is also so wholesome. And it's cool to get that buy-in from everybody.
So good. Yeah. So special.
Because sometimes when I bring people in, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to just go, what the fuck, Blake? What are you making us do? But everyone's been really receptive to everything that we've been doing, and it's built a really strong culture. I
was going to say, it sounds like you've built and cultivated a nice energy.
But it's come from within. I haven't forced it. It's everything is we discuss, and you should never force these sort of things on a team. Yeah, because I've been in environments where they've done things, and I'm just like, this is just does not feel natural whatsoever. Yep. But we discuss as a team. Like the team suggests events and. Like definitely doing the breath work I think will be a cool event
I would love that
to come into the new office. It'd be
so good. I would love that.
Very good.
Yay.
So last but not least, before we finish up, what advice would you give your younger self, even though you're still only young at 26?
26, guys.
What advice would you give yourself, even prior to getting into all of this, now knowing there's tools that you have?
I would just tell her to just calm down.
Chill the fuck out.
Chill out, lady. She was a little cray-cray. I would tell her to calm down.
I still give myself that advice today.
Yeah, same. Literally same. I'm like, my Somi, she's like, calm down. I'm like, I would tell myself to calm down. I would just be like, just so much nicer to myself. I was so mean. Oh my God, I was horrible to myself. There was just so much disconnection from the body, but just no self-love, and I know that self-love is a bit of a juicy cliche word, but wow, it would just, I think a person that truly loves themselves and accepts themselves, they have a different energy and radiance and aura about them. So I think the self-love thing and the calming down thing and just slowing down. I know it's all such typical stuff. But
no, that's important.
Yeah. I mean, when I decided to have children one day, like, you can't help. You're going to obviously implement things into them and that's inevitable. But I think the biggest thing is like just to make sure just calm and kindness and calmness and kindness.
No, that's good. And be in that environment that will support that as well, right? Some of the people that you hang around in the environment that you're in, and
totally,
it's a very good lesson. And I think we should all be reminding ourselves of that daily, no matter how old or young we are.
I agree.
Yeah.
Such simple little things.
100%.
Just to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's it.
And like, let's play, let's laugh, let's have fun. We're not here for that long.
No. Yeah. Fully. I think people literally act as though they're here forever.
Yeah. It's like, guys, just crack a smile. Like even I was the other day, like we were talking about how like all I sort of think about and do is like work. And there was this lady on the phone and she was quite rude. She was a little highly strung and she said something like, she was like, oh, what else do you need? What else do you need? And I said, oh, just good vibes. And then I kind of cracked her and she started like smiling a bit. And I was like, yes. And like, it was such a stupid little simple thing, but it broke the ice. I know it made her like, fucking smile and it did something, like if I lose that play and I become way too serious, take it away.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I can get too serious and you got to switch off and just calm down. It's life's tough for everybody. And slow down, trust the process.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Eddie. We'll wrap it up, and I can't wait for what the future holds for you.
Thank you.
I'm very keen to do some more classes. 25th of May.
Yes.
At the Pavilion, if anyone wants to go along, and we'll get you hooked up with the team in the new office, and looking forward to it.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.